Welcome back to the You Can Do More YouTube channel, where each week I offer videos to help parents, athletes, and coaches better understand and navigate the collegiate recruiting process. Videos that will help you get recruited. You've probably all seen or heard about certain athletes that were 5-star prospects or 4-star prospects or an elite prospect. Let me ask you this. Are these 5-star prospects a sure thing to get recruited and be successful as a collegiate athlete? What if you have no stars? Does that mean you have no chance to become a collegiate athlete? Find out the answer to these and many more questions on this week's episode, The Science of Recruiting. The Science of Recruiting. If you hear a coach or a recruiting service tell you that they know and they can predict with a very high degree of certainty what high school athletes will become successful collegiate athletes, well, they're probably trying to sell you something or trying to recruit you. The business of recruiting is not a science. At best, it's a very inexact science. Actually, collegiate recruiting is more of a gamble, more like a crapshoot. Hence the dice you see behind me here. Let me explain this. Every year the story is the same. Hundreds of sure thing 5-star prospects turn out to be busts. And hundreds of athletes with no star rankings and very few scholarship offers becomes actual stars on the playing field. Mitch Mustaine, one of the top-ranked quarterbacks his senior year, signed with the University of Arkansas. Antoine Perez signed with USC. He was a 5-star prospect and ranked 5th of all the defensive backs in the country his senior year. Fred Roush from Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, number 2 wide receiver in his recruiting class, signed with Florida State. Ryan Perlew, the top-ranked quarterback his senior year, 5-star prospect, signed with LSU. So, have you heard of these people? No. They're all 5-star busts. They really never made it. Mitch Mustaine went from the University of Arkansas, transferred to USC, and sat the bench at USC. Antoine Perez went from USC to Maryland, played a few games at Maryland, ended up not even being a starter. Fred Roush went from Florida State to UTEP to Concordia College and never even finished college. Ryan Perlew, same story. Went from LSU, transferred from LSU, ended up not finishing school. All 5-star bust. All sure things, 5-star prospects, can't miss, all of them busts. It happens every year. So, we all know who this guy is, right? J.J. Watt, defensive MVP 3 times in his first 5 seasons. But did you know that coming out of high school, he was a 2-star prospect? He signed with Central Michigan out of high school, played 1 year there, and then walked on at Wisconsin and finished his career there. Heard of that guy, Tony Romo? I don't even know if Tony Romo had any stars coming out of high school. He went to Eastern Illinois, an FCS school, started 3 or 4 years there, signed as a free agent with the Dallas Cowboys, went on to be starting quarterback and an all-pro there. Jordy Nelson, heard of him? Jordy walked on at K-State coming out of high school. Walked on, eventually earned a scholarship there and became an all-pro wide receiver with the Green Bay Packers, won the comeback player of the year last year. And DeMarcus Ware? DeMarcus was a 2-star athlete coming out of high school, went to Troy University, signed with the Dallas Cowboys, and became an all-pro and all-time sack leader for the Dallas Cowboys. All of these players were 1, 2-star, no-star athletes coming out of high school, but proved that they were true stars on the playing field. One thing that is significant about all these guys is that in high school they were all multi-sport athletes, successful multi-sport athletes. We're going to talk about that a lot later in this video series. I'd like to share another story, although not as well known. I still think it's very relevant to this discussion. In 1989, I was an assistant football coach at the University of Central Missouri. We got a call from a high school coach in St. Louis from McClure High School. This coach called us and said he had a young man named Bart Woods that wanted to come to Central Missouri, walk on and play football. Bart played defensive end. Well, he knew he wasn't going to get a scholarship. He just wanted to be given the opportunity to walk on. Well, we had evaluated Bart. We had looked at video and thought he was a good football player, but when our coach went to visit, just didn't think Bart passed the eyeball test. Bart was a multi-sport athlete. He was a swimmer and diver. He was in season when our coach went to see him, and swimming and diving is a grueling sport. And he was thin, he was skinny. He weighed about 185 pounds, 180, 185 pounds. And to play a collegiate defensive end, we just thought that was light. Well, we didn't offer him a scholarship. Nobody offered Bart a scholarship. He came to Central Missouri and walked on. His freshman year, we redshirted Bart. He played scout team that year, and every day in practice, he gave our offense fits. We saw immediately he was going to be a good football player. He had gained weight, he had gained strength, he was a good football player. We put him on scholarship. His next year, his first year of varsity competition as a redshirt freshman, he led our team in sacks and made third team all MIAA. His next year, as a sophomore, he made first team all conference, again led our team in sacks. His junior and senior year, he was first team all MIAA, was the defensive MVP in our conference, and made first team Kodak All-American at defensive end both of those years. That's the first time that had happened at our school. So one of the most awarded athletes ever to play football at our university began as a walk-on. We missed on him. We didn't offer him a scholarship. Nobody offered him a scholarship. Everybody missed on him. That's just another example of how inexact this recruiting process is. And I'm the first to admit, everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's an inexact process. Okay, I did it again. When I finished editing this week's episode, it was nearly 20 minutes long. I admit it, I could be long-winded, but there's just so much information that I'm wanting to get out there to you. I want to get it all in. As I mentioned before, I want to keep each episode about 6 to 8 minutes, so this is a logical stopping place. We finished our discussion on how inexact the recruiting process is. Next week, we're going to talk about what the odds are of you getting that scholarship you're dreaming of, and what we can do to help increase those odds. As always, I appreciate you stopping by the You Can Do More YouTube channel, and I appreciate you allowing me to join you and your family in this, your recruiting journey. As always, there's a few things that you can do that really help me. The first thing, subscribe to this channel. At the end of this video, there'll be a button, it'll be my face. Just click on my face and you'll be subscribed. You'll get notice of when all the videos are posted. Second, like the video. Give it a thumbs up. Third, if you have any questions about this video or anything in regards to the recruiting process, leave it down below and I will get back with you. Share this channel with your colleagues, with your teammates, with your parents. And the final thing, if you get a chance to visit my Patreon page, and there's a link to that at the end of this video also, if you visit there, consider becoming a patron. It's an investment not only in me and this project, but in you and your future also. Have a great week this week. Continue doing all the things that are going to make you a remarkable, recruitable student athlete in the classroom, on the field, training. Have a great week. We'll see you next week when we talk about the odds of getting the scholarship and what we can do to increase those odds.